From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, December 9th. Some scattered showers are going to develop late morning hours. A better chance for rain will be north of I-70. Rain chances altogether diminished by sunset with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. And we did have breaking news this morning out of Brownsburg. A transaction gone wrong leads to a fatal shooting. Police are now searching for two people. Officers say they're looking for a 2008 Honda Civic, dark blue in color, with an Indiana license plate number AEU 479. Police say do not approach the vehicle and instead call them immediately if you see it. This all unfolded just after 11 last night next to the Cardinal and Delaware Trail Elementary Schools on Hornaday Road. Officers say they found a man shot to death there at the scene. Investigators think the victim and a second person met the two suspects for some kind of transaction, which escalated into shots being fired. Police say one of the suspects is an 18 to 20-year-old man wearing a black and red hooded sweatshirt with long, light-colored dreads. Investigators say the other suspect drove the getaway car. We are still working to learn the victim's name. And also breaking this morning, police say a young person is wounded but stable after overnight gunfire on the near north side of Indianapolis. Happened just before 1:30 this morning near 33rd in Illinois. Police are not giving the exact ages of anyone involved, only describing them as minors. Officers told our crew that was there at the scene the victim shot him or herself in the foot. And new this morning, we did get a hold of an online police report that describes it differently, saying a male was clearing a gun and accidentally shot a female in the foot. We have reached out to IMPD for clarification. And more breaking news. WNBA star Brittany Griner is back in the United States. She landed at the military base in San Antonio, Texas early this morning. Her first stop will likely be a medical treatment facility. The State Department says U.S. officials will talk with Griner about what she needs. As we first told you on Daybreak, Griner is coming home in a prisoner swap with Russia. The United States sent convicted arms dealer Victor Bout back to Russia. Russian state media released video of the airport transfers of Griner and Bout. The Biden administration says the deal came together within about 48 hours and that while the swap is not everything the U.S. wanted, it was the best deal available.
These decisions that the president make day in and day out in this particular decision is not an easy one. He does not make these decisions lightly. He believed there was an opportunity to bring Brittany Griner home, and he took that opportunity. And so that is something that he wants American people to understand. Look, the options that we were given was either we bring one American home, which is Brittany Griner, or we bring none.
U.S. officials say Russia rejected every proposal to release Paul Whelan, an American that Russia has held since 2018 on claims that he is a spy. Whelan says he's frustrated and surprised. In a phone interview after the Griner deal came down, Whelan urged leaders here to keep working to bring him home.
I would say that if a message could go to President Biden that, this is a precarious situation that needs to be resolved quickly. And I would hope that he and his administration would do everything they could to get me home, regardless of the price they might have to pay at this point. My bags are packed. I'm ready to go home. I just need an airplane to come and get me.
Members of Whelan's family spoke too, supporting the move that brought Griner home and focusing blame on Russia.
He is doing extremely well under the circumstances in terms of his resilience and courage, but he is also devastated that once again somebody is going home and it's not him. He's been there for almost 4 years. But he is a bright fellow. He understands the situation. It's Russia who's created this. It's Russia who is dividing up the prisoners and trying to cause as much dissension back in the U.S. as they can.
President Biden says Russia has no legitimate reason to treat Whelan differently and that America will not give up trying to get him back. And the president says he will soon sign into law the Respect for Marriage Act. The House voted to approve protections for same-sex and interracial marriages yesterday. 39 Republicans joined Democrats to pass the legislation. None was from Indiana. The measure does not provide federal protections. Instead, it requires all states to recognize other states' legal marriages. An Indianapolis doctor has dropped a lawsuit aimed at stopping Attorney General Todd Rokita from investigating her. Dr. Caitlin Bernard is a doctor who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio. The lawsuit sought an emergency injunction to prevent Rokita from issuing subpoenas for medical records of Bernard's patients. Bernard's lawyers say the decision comes as a judge ruled Rokita violated state law by discussing the investigation in the media. The lawyers say they'll now focus on defending Bernard against the complaint Rokita filed with the Medical Licensing Board. And the man accused in the Delphi double murder is asking for public money to pay for expert witnesses and more. Richard Allen's attorneys filed a request and are asking for the hearing to be privately with the judge. They argue an open hearing would require his defense team to make its strategy public. Public funding requests are common in cases with public defenders to let the accused hire investigators, bring in experts, and more. A new House vote moves the military closer to ending its COVID-19 vaccine mandate. The measure is a headline-grabbing part of the overall $859 billion defense authorization bill. The House passed it with wide support from Republicans and Democrats. It appears to have the votes to pass the Senate, too. The White House has reiterated support for the vaccine mandate and is not yet saying if the president will sign the spending bill. And we should learn details today about America's next round of help for Ukraine. The AP reports it will include $275 million more in military aid. The package would include ammunition and anti-drone systems. International observers are seeing a slowdown in Russia's attacks. The Secretary General of NATO says it appears activity is losing momentum as winter weather sets in. Chuck Schumer will stay Senate Majority Leader. Democrats met yesterday to choose their leadership for next year and again selected Schumer for the top job. Senator Dick Durbin keeps his key post, too, as Majority Whip. Michigan's Debbie Stabenow will serve in the number 3 post as head of the Policy and Communications Committee. A new House committee report accuses the Washington Commanders of creating a toxic work culture by downplaying sexual misconduct by top executives. The House Committee on Oversight and Reform published the report yesterday. It says team owner Dan Snyder was involved in the misconduct. It also claims Snyder misled the committee and interfered in the investigation. Attorneys for Snyder and the Commanders called the report one-sided. To business headlines, today's wholesale inflation report is expected to show that we've seen peak inflation. The producer price number we get this morning measures what businesses pay for raw materials, which often gets passed on to consumers eventually. This is the last inflation report before the Federal Reserve meeting next week. Nearly 25% of millennials are living with their parents, per a new survey by Pew Research. Half of them moved in over the last year as inflation surged. The pandemic drew many young people home in 2020, and now poor finances are pushing them back again. The U.S. housing market's deep freeze is likely to accelerate next year and result in the first year-over-year decrease in home prices in a decade. Redfin says the median U.S. home sale price is projected to fall 4% to $368,000 in 2023. Home markets in the Midwest and Northeast are seen as likely to maintain their prices in the year ahead. The government wants to block the Microsoft-Activision merger. Commissioners voted 3-1 to sue to block the transaction, saying it would create a monopoly in the biggest games. The deal would have made Microsoft the third largest gaming company. Keurig Dr. Pepper jumps into energy drinks with a 30% stake in Nutrabolt. Nutrabolt was founded 20 years ago. Investors in the company include comedian Kevin Hart. And IndyCar is getting its own behind-the-scenes docu-series. 100 Days to Indy will follow drivers in the lead-up to the biggest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You will be able to watch it right on Wish TV. The CW Network, Vice Media, and Penske Productions announced the 6-part series yesterday. We've made it easy for you to find all the details on the series on wishtv.com. Just look for this story under the As Seen On section of the website. The 28th annual WIBC Radiothon is underway to raise money for the Salvation Army. The goal this year is to raise a record $400,000 during the 36-hour event. The broadcast is happening at Sullivan Hardware and Gardens at 71st and Keystone. It started at 6 this morning and will run until 6 tomorrow evening. You can donate in person there. You can also donate at WIBCRadiothon.com or text Hoosier to 24365. And happening today, Indianapolis Animal Care Services is holding a sweater weather adoption event. It's happening today through Sunday from 10 to 5:30. Animals that are adopted during the event will go home with a goodie bag, a sweater, and some coupons while supplies last. All adoptions will be free, though donations are always accepted. The shelter says over 130 animals are waiting for a home. If you're hesitant to commit, the shelter does have a 2-week trial period. Also today, Nutcracker Suites at Newfields. It's a 1-hour performance by the Indianapolis Ballet, offering an abbreviated version of the Nutcracker. Performances are at noon and 3 today through Sunday. Tickets start at $25. And finally, Zionsville starts its Winterfest today. There's a ribbon cutting at 3:45 this afternoon at Mulberry Fields. The festival includes ice skating, food vendors, a holiday market, visits from Santa, and sledding. Winterfest runs through January 2nd. Thanks for bearing with me as I'm dealing with all the voice issues, kind of that respiratory gunk that everybody's dealing with right now, it seems like. So if you've listened this far, I really appreciate it. I hope you have a safe and fun holiday weekend. This has been your News 8 Daily for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.